guys. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Let me get everything pulled up real fast. And then we'll start. There we go. I just got to get this up. And then I'll also put a thumbs up myself on my other screen, so it helps out. Anyways, so sorry I wasn't on live yesterday. My phone got shut off. I was able to work a few hours today and not yesterday, so I kind of got mixed up. Tomorrow I'll be back at the farm, so that's kind of cool. I like working down there. I always get a full day at least over there, so that'll be enough to, help pay a few things. I've got insurance, which is due already, but I'm gonna have to put that off so I can make sure I eat still for the rest of the week. I still have a little bit of money left on the. Well, I have about 2 more days worth of food, 2 or 3 days, depending on if I eat once or twice a day. Left on my gift card, so that's good. I used all my money to get my phone turned back on, so I have no cash at the moment, but I will be working tomorrow, so that is good. I'm not parked at Wawa's today, so I'm over on the other side considering working at the farm tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to be back closer to Wawa's where I'll be able to use the gift card tomorrow. Today I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but talk a little bit about today about exactly my experience so far being in Sarasota, Florida. So prior to there, I was living in a car in the winter in Maine. The car up enough money, and between that, my savings, and the channel here, we saved up enough money for a cheap van down to New Mexico because I had a girlfriend at the time, and she kind of used me until she got her job, and then we broke up, and I came. This is where I'm from, Florida. I'm from about 40 minutes. I was born and raised in Newport Richey, Florida, which is about 40 minutes away from here. And then I've been here ever since. So, the difference between the places I have been homeless, I've not always been a person. Payments, which completely drowned in the company. I couldn't get another vehicle. I couldn't get they had to repo the truck, so I couldn't just go get another car, through a finance agency, considering I had a repo. And everything just, boggled down and lost everything. But, Maine, there's definitely more resources. It's colder. The people aren't as helpful. I feel the community here has, work-wise, has helped. I've got to work on the farm, which is either a day or 2 a week. Those are full days, so those really help. And, hopefully that'll continue to grow from there. So, Sarasota, the community is very nice here. I wouldn't, exactly recommend being, if you want to, if you're homeless, to come here. Just because it is illegal to be homeless in Sarasota. I have a van, which is a work van, so I can kind of blend in a little bit easier. It makes it very much safer for me. If you're out there sleeping on the streets or in a tent, I wouldn't recommend it at all. They'll get you. But there's a lot of money here, but things are very expensive. Like, I'm not gonna try to go find an apartment. I'm going to save up for a boat, and once I get buy the boat, which I've lived on boats most of my life, I can get a liveaboard for around $5,000 to $10,000. And that's my goal to save up for. And that's plus, if you consider first, last, and security that you got to move in, that's almost a boat right there. So then after that, I just anchor out, and I don't have to pay rent anymore. And I don't have to, I have a home. I don't have to worry about it, because you don't want to rent here. It's very expensive. Florida is ranked one of the worst states for renters. It's not very feasible. Well, it's most of my life in Florida because rent is been out of control for a long time. But there's a lot of money to be made in Florida too. So, and the community is pretty fair. Sarasota is pretty safe compared to a lot of other towns in Florida. There's still your crime here, and there's still bad spots like there is everywhere. But I haven't like when I was in Cocoa. Cocoa's very bad. Somebody tried to break in the van while I was sleeping there, so I'm kind of glad that never happened. But compared to a lot of places I could be, I'm definitely glad to be in Sarasota. And there seems to be a lot of work here. I've just got to continue to push hard and make that all count. Why is my stream freezing like that? Sorry, I just noticed on my tablet that it's freezing. Well, hopefully that doesn't continue doing that. That's weird. Sorry, hopefully it's coming in a little better now. I'm actually going to turn my tablet off. I think it's because I'm streaming on my tablet as well, so I can keep up with chats, but I'm going to turn that off for a little bit. Hopefully that'll unlag it a little bit and make it come through a little better. I do this all from my phone and a tablet, so I'm going to try to turn the tablet off, and because I use that for on the hotspot off the phone. So hopefully that'll, anyways, clear that up. But like I said, I don't recommend anybody, just choosing Florida in general to be homeless. I do it because, one, this is my home state. I want to be here. I want to do good things here. I love Florida, but Florida, it is illegal to be homeless, so that makes it much harder. And not to try to make this political, but I'm more Republican than anything, and that is what it is. Tend to have a lot, in my opinion, at least from the states that I've lived in, that are be a Democrat or Republican. Florida has got a very strong government and a lot of good policies, for work. So it makes brings a lot of money in. Florida's a very, very rich state. Sarasota is one of the richest places, not the richest. I believe it's St. Augustine is the richest, that area, but this is very close. I might be wrong on that. It might not be St. Augustine. It might be a different one. I'd have to look that up. So don't quote me on that. But anyways, I've definitely, the weather, it gets hot in this fan. I'm not gonna lie. And things like that. It makes it a little bit difficult. I have to worry about my insulin, getting hot in the van, of course, and things like that. But overall, in general, it's it's definitely better than being up north. There's a lot more work. I've just got to continue to work on getting my name out there, and that's slowly happening. And if I can pick up, like I said, a few painting jobs, I can get a boat pretty quick. So I'm hoping and praying by August, which is the hottest month in Florida, to be on a boat. If hurricane season's rough, I can actually probably get a boat for pretty cheap. Just find one that gets slightly damaged, and like I said, I've lived on boats almost my whole life, so I can repair anything on a boat. So that's my goal. Continue working hard, continue doing what I have to do. Eventually I'll get out of this spot where I'm actually able to save money, but right now I'm pretty much at the point where it's it's still hard to eat every day, but I'm eating, and I'm living. Still haven't been able to shower or do laundry, which sucks. It's been almost a month now, which makes it very difficult to do a lot of things because people look down on you, and I look down on myself. Nobody wants to be dirty and nasty and have dirty clothes, and I'm a very clean person, but right now you wouldn't be able to tell. So the van's a mess too. It's just, that's depression. Just don't, I'm already nasty and gross, and it's like, what's the point? But I do need to clean up the van pretty bad. Just get out of, the habit of, looking down on myself. But it's hard when you have nothing and you're not at the spot you want to be in life. But it is what it is at the same time, and I'm just going to continue pushing forward and doing what I got to do. But I believe Sarasota has a lot to offer me, and I believe that I can do very well here once I get on my feet. I'm going to have to eventually get rid of the van. I'm going to get a truck once I get a boat. First thing is getting a boat. I'm hoping and praying this van lasts because it's got 270-something thousand miles now, and just hoping and praying the van will last until I can get a place to live. And then after that, I'm going to work on getting my truck and my trailer so I can start my junk removal company up. If anybody who doesn't know, I used to own a junk removal company for 8 years. I did very, very well for myself, and that's my plan and goal, to do that again. I did very well, and I know how to run that company very well. But first thing is I can't, sleep in a truck compared to this. So, I at least have a bed in the back here, and I have a little bit of space. It stinks not being able to stand up unless I'm outside. I just got to keep, hopefully work will continue picking up. Hopefully I'll get more jobs. If anybody's in the Sarasota area and they need anything done, please let me know. I have been a painter for 15 years. Very good at what I do. Prior to the junk removal company, that's what I did. But the junk removal company was called Good Riddance Junk Removal. I'm still on YouTube. I'm not YouTube. Google for that too. I've got to hopefully try to get onto that information so I can get it switched over here because I've got a lot of good reviews. Like I said, I did pretty good for myself. But there's so much to do. I don't know how to get into that account anymore, so I might have to just start a new one. Probably rename it and all that. But, it's another beautiful day out today. It's actually got a nice breeze, so I'm pretty happy about that. But, I appreciate all of our new subscribers. I want to thank everybody who's been subscribing. Recently, we've went up over 50 subscribers in the last, month, and it's really impressive. It's been a while since we started gaining some again. We were actually losing some for a little bit because we got a copyright strike, and then I went offline for a little while. Just a whole bunch of stuff, but we're starting to rebuild it up again, and that's, it's always good. We don't have the numbers because we're not doing the covering protests like we used to, but right now I've got to focus on less drama and more, what's going on with my life and trying to get myself out of this without the headache and the stress. Doing these, it helps me out mentally as well. But that's my update for today. I just wanted to do a quick one today. Like I said, there's not a whole lot. Like I'm gonna, keep them shorter as, unless people, chat picks up, they'll be pretty short, and then just more update type stuff, and like little tidbits or whatever. But I will definitely try to make sure I go by moving forward. As we progress, then we'll get back into the sunset videos like we were doing, but right now I'm trying to save extremely hard on fuel because, like I said, everything is just so expensive. It's killing me to I can't save yet. If anybody wishes to support the channel, the links are in the description.